Welcome back to the Birdhouse Dynasty show, and tonight's Hot or Not Dynasty Late Summer Risers and Fallers episode. We'll also do some last minute house cleaning tips for you before the kickoff. Thursday night of our 2025 NFL season. Yes, just 2 nights away. Kids started school today, and football is in the air. Yes. And we're here to talk about those last minute risers. This preseason's been pretty wild. All of these rookie running backs from this 2025 rookie class, and they are smoking right now, just flying up the boards, along with my boy Lemke. Yes, it has been a wild summer, drastically changing values of some of these rookie running backs. We're going to get into it right away. Let's not waste any time. We'll kick it right off with old Bill here. Yup, JCM. And man, what can I say? This guy has gone from a 7th rounder that played 1 game last year in college and suited up for the practice squad every week for Arizona. This guy is a gamer. Yes, old Bill Krosky Merritt, huh? Is he better than Austin Eckler? Is he better than Chris Rodriguez? Honestly, for my dollar, I'll take a 10-cent Chris Rodriguez for a $1 Krosky Merritt. But what does that mean for us dynasty-wise? Well, I'll tell you what, I've picked up a lot of free Chris Rodriguez lately, and I've got no problem with that. However, that doesn't put Krosky Merritt by the wayside. No. I do think this may start off as an ugly 3-headed monster here. Potentially 4. There's Jeremy McNichols in the mix too. But everybody is psyched about Jaden Daniels and the Commanders' offense. So, of course, the hot new toy is flying up the boards. Let me show you just how crazy it is over on the old Dynasty Daddy. I mean, it is nuts. Yes. Here is the latest trade market according to Dynasty Daddy, and you can see that big little bubble there, that big old bubble is Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. Bigger than Rashee Rice, bigger than George Pickens, bigger than Tony Pollard, Brian Robinson. Hell, all of them combined don't match the trade liquidity right now of Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. If you go on to Keep Trade Cut, you can see the liquidity market that they show on the bottom. He's all the way up to 99, literally as high as you can go. He is so liquid right now, it is just nuts. However, does that mean you can actually trade him in your league for something that you want? Well, first of all, when should you be trading Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt? Well, if you're on a contender and you don't believe you're going to be needing to start him in the first, 2 to 3 weeks, and you've got at least a couple other running backs on your bench that are startable, I'd definitely consider flipping him for a second right now. That second could definitely come in handy at any point of the regular season for a wide receiver fill-in, a nice veteran wide receiver fill-in. That could come in handy to help you acquire a quarterback later on. Maybe you have to tack on a second to a first rounder to pick up a quarterback. What I'm saying is, yes, Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt is very fluid and liquidable right now, this moment. However, At this point next week, he may not be. The dude goes out there and has 4 carries for 17 yards, and there is not going to be a whole lot of people that want this guy. I'll tell you that much. You'll be lucky getting a third for him, okay? But he falls into the end zone just once, and it is wheels up on JCM. That is how polarizing it is right now with this guy. So if you want to just cash out for a second, I'm talking any second, be my guest. Most of the leagues I've got him in, I'm holding out for at least a 26, maybe 27 second rounder. I know everybody wants 27 first. I don't know how deep it goes as far as into the second round. So 26 versus 27 seconds. I don't know what, but a 28 second, that's pushing it a little far out for me. All right. But yeah, this is the time to cash out if you want to. Otherwise, if you've got room and you have, let's say you have 3 or 4 seconds piled up within a certain year, or you've got multiple 26s and multiple 27s, and you already have a couple of firsts, sure, you could go ahead and throw a second at them. I'm not going to be opposed. The best way to get rid of them, though, honestly, to me, is to use them as a sweetener in a deal to tier up. Let's say you want to go from, I don't know, Terry McLaurin to a Mekagbuka. Throw in JCM and boom, you've got your deal. That way, you're still getting the potential riser in value of Agbuka. Yes, that's true. That's right. It is possible for Agbuka to even go higher than he is right now, which is wide receiver 16 in Dynasty. But JCM would be best used to acquire an asset that could still rise. Rashee Rice, another good option. You could do Jameson Williams, right? I'm looking at trying to cross-positionally use it to acquire a better wide receiver. That's what I'm looking for, all right? He can definitely be thrown in on a deal as a sweetener right now. And that way, you're still getting the potential rise of someone to offset the potential rise of Krosky Merritt. So that would be the ideal way to liquidate him at this current moment. Now, do you want to trade for him? Again, if you've got the multiple picks, go ahead and do it. If you want him thrown in on a deal, fair. Let's say you wanted to acquire Agbuka and Krosky Merritt. That's going to be tough to do right now. Both are so hot. You're going to be overpaying at least by a second probably. So I don't know if I'd advise doing that one right now. Again, when you're buying high, it's a very dangerous slope. But the fact is, this dude's still only at like 3,300-ish in value. So let's say he does pull off an Isaiah Pacheco, he could rise up to a first rounders in value. Now, Isaiah Pacheco, as good as he was a couple of years ago, he's still, being a 7th rounder, there's limited ceiling for a dude like that. I mean, Pacheco, this dude was on the Chiefs, literally, and he still was only able to rise to like a back end first in value. So be advised, this guy will have a somewhat limited ceiling. I think that the Commanders are built for a team that will have multiple backs most of the time. They have Eckler right now cemented in as a 3rd down back. I don't care that Brian Robinson left or whatever. That doesn't mean that Eckler's all of a sudden getting 20 and 25 touches. No, he's going to stay in his role. He's going to get about 10 touches a game, and he's probably going to be efficient with those. So if he steals some goal line work out of this backfield somehow, don't be surprised. All right? He was a very good receiver inside the 20 for the Chargers for many years. So Eckler's a very, very solid veteran that I think will get plenty of work. So I did draft Eckler in one of my recent redrafts. It wasn't until like round 10 as like a third or fourth running back. So, you know, it was just a depth piece. But again, kind of limited upside, I'll be honest. All right. Moving along. Yes, there is more to talk about than big old Bill. All right. If you haven't already, please smash the like and subscribe. You can check us out on the Patreon or buymeacoffee.com/Birdhouse Dynasty Show if you've got any questions after the show. If you've got any questions right now, though, go ahead and drop them in the chat. That's what I'm here for right now. I'm here for you guys. I don't care what they are. Dynasty, trade questions, start-sit questions, whatever. Throw me your redraft roster. I'll comment on it. That's fine. All right, next up, we'll talk another rookie running back. And that is the Miami Dolphins. Yes, the Dolphins. And their crazy backfield, Ollie Gordon. Oof. Ollie's been tearing it up this preseason. Now, Ollie had an awesome sophomore year at Oklahoma State, but he went the way of another Oklahoma State running back in Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard had an awesome sophomore year and then had a dramatically worse junior season. Ollie Gordon happened to do the same exact thing. The Cowboys didn't have the Oklahoma State Cowboys, they did not have much of an O-line left after his sophomore year, and the offense was just atrocious. So Ollie really fell in the draft. He had been a contender to be the RB1 in this class, but obviously a few other running backs stepped up. Genty, Caleb Johnson, Marion Hampton, Travion Henderson, you know the list now. But Ollie Gordon has that talent. He's a bigger dude, 6'2", 225. I like that for the Dolphins. He could steal some goal line work from Devon Achane. Now, think about this. Like, the Dolphins were a super efficient offense 2 years ago, right? They were averaging 3.4 touchdowns a week. Last year, that plummeted down to 2.3 touchdowns a week. So they went from being a top 10 offense down to a bottom 10 offense, basically. And the difference, well, Raheem Mostert wasn't very visible last year, and so Ollie Gordon could easily step into that sort of role for the Dolphins. And so we've already seen it from this Dolphins offense just 2 years ago that they could support two fantasy-relevant running backs, much like the Lions, okay? I mean, Mostert scored over 15 touchdowns that year. It was nuts. And Devon Achane still was definitely fantasy viable. Now, Achane had a better season his second year, and so he's going to get more work than he did his rookie season. So I don't know that Ollie Gordon can quite do what Raheem Mostert did 2 years ago, but even half of that would be super nice. And any weeks that Achane were to miss, like, you're looking at a monster workload here. Jalen Wright is injured already, and so it looks like Ollie Gordon's definitely going to get, I don't know, my best guess is at least 7 to 10 touches week one for now. Okay, we'll see. Again, it's very interesting to see what happens on the goal line down inside the 10, who they deploy in the backfield for the Dolphins, so that's something to monitor. But if you want to spend a second on Ollie Gordon right now, I wouldn't hate it, okay? Now, if you want to liquidate on him, you could do that too, because let's be realistic here. Is Ollie Gordon ever going to be worth a first rounder? Really? Okay? Think about Braylon Allen and how hot he was last season when he came out gangbusters, right? That's kind of what's similar, what you could expect from him here. So if you want to sell him off for a second because you bought him for, you drafted him in the third, be my guest. Again, that second could come in handy later in the season because I don't think Devon Achane is going anywhere. So the best case scenario for Ollie Gordon is David Montgomery, okay? And so is that realistic? Like, could this Dolphins offense become a top 5 offense like the Lions? I don't think so, right? So they're not getting that many rushes inside the 5 like what David Montgomery's seen over the past couple of seasons in Detroit. But yeah, if you want to push off of Ollie Gordon, go ahead and do it. Next up, I want to talk the other side, and that's Caleb Johnson. So Caleb, the numbers haven't looked awful, okay? What did look bad is when they released the depth chart today, and he was behind Kenny Gainwell. Now, to some that may not have come as a surprise, Gainwell is a veteran, and Jalen Warren obviously knows the offense from last season. So it's not too crazy what happened, but it shows that Caleb Johnson's definitely going to have to work to earn the trust of Arthur Smith. And even when he does that now, even if and when he does that, because I do believe Caleb Johnson can, the problem here is what kind of upside is there? Okay, yes, there's 10-plus touchdown upside, but the receiving part of it, not only is he going to get it stolen by Jalen Warren, but Kenny Gainwell will steal some receptions as well, right? So we're looking at probably 10 catches tops from this guy. I don't know, man. The problem here, though, is like you're definitely not getting a first for him, that first that you paid for him. So are you selling right now? No. The problem is you're probably best off holding and really hoping for a Jalen Warren injury that elevates Caleb Johnson into a bigger role. He has a few weeks where he really shines because he's the main guy then, okay? Let's say Jalen Warren goes down week 1 with a high ankle sprain, right? And he's out 3 to 5 weeks, okay? You could see Caleb Johnson at some point there getting like 20 touches and being the guy. Kenny Gainwell is not anything more than a third down back, 5 to 6 touch a week guy. All right, so if there is an injury at some point in the season, and the odds are at some point during the year Jalen Warren will have an injury. That's just how the running back position rolls. So I do think that Caleb Johnson is somebody that I would definitely hold on right now. I don't know that I would sell off of him, and I wouldn't panic right now. That's not the right way to go about it for Caleb Johnson, even with the extension to Jalen Warren. So we'll roll on. I got one more running back that I really wanted to talk about, and that's Dylan Sampson here. So Dylan Sampson, this guy. So you got Jerome Ford there. They're both obviously waiting in the wings, or they're not waiting in the wings. You got Quinshon Judkins waiting in the wings. I don't know if he'll be signed yet. If he show up, the rumors are that the contract's ready. So it's possible Judkins signs before week 1's game. How many touches could he get then? I don't know. The guy hasn't been in camp all year, so it's hard to imagine him getting anything more than 5 touches week 1 if he were to sign like tonight or tomorrow morning. That said, Dylan Sampson was drafted in the 4th round. Okay, he does have super talent, and I think he's more talented than Jerome Ford is. Okay, so we'll see what kind of split. Right now, I think it's like a 55-45 split we're looking at week 1 between Ford and Sampson. Ford getting the 55%. I would say just because he's the veteran, and the Browns, they're in a situation where they're playing Joe Flacco, so they're gonna try it out. Basically, they're gonna see how good their defense is and how well it can carry them. Joe Flacco is not going to be the one that's expected to lead the team to the Super Bowl. He's not that kind of quarterback, but he can sling it and bring you back from behind a few times in the season. So if Flacco is winning any games here, if he's keeping them, let's say, at 500 or above, they're going to keep playing him until he falls. And that's when we'll see Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders. But until the Browns are out of playoff contention, Flacco's going to be in there, all right? And that bodes well for Sampson, because I think once Jerome Ford gets demoted, when Judkins does come into the room, I don't think that he stays ahead of Dylan Sampson then, right? And so if Sampson can really flourish here early on, he has the chance, he does have the chance to be the lead dog here, okay? So when you're really, when you're really looking at it, out of these four guys, honestly, right now, Dylan Sampson has the best shot at being his team's lead dog. The problem is he plays in the dog pound. Yes, Cleveland is the okay, the Steelers isn't a very enticing offense either, but at least they're known for being a boring offense, and they still win games. The Browns is just a team that everybody tries to avoid. Like, yeah, I'll draft Jerry Jeudy if I have to type team, right? So that's the problem with owning a Dylan Sampson, even if he's doing well. Like, how high is his dynasty value actually going to rise with Judkins in the room? And so are you ever going to be able to get a first for a Dylan Sampson? That's kind of hard to imagine. So if you're buying Sampson, you are either buying him so you can play him right away, like you're really hanging on it, like the rest of your squad is good, okay? RB2 is your weak point, or let's say RB3 is what it is, and you're getting him as the last flex on your team. Typically, I'd rather have a wide receiver in that spot, but I can understand if you want to roll with running back there. The problem, just keep in mind, like, I don't know that his value ever can get quite up to a first. It's just tough to imagine with Quidshot Judkins being there, just being the gnat in the room right now. And so that's my only hesitation on Dylan Sampson. But again, of these four running backs that I just talked about, like, he has the quickest route to being the lead dog in his backfield. So that's my thought on four of the hottest rookie running backs right now. Next up, we're going to switch over to my boy, Emeka Egbuka. Yes. And yes, I know, just a couple days ago, literally the day after my jersey came in, the dude changes his number to number 2 so he could have his college number back. We cut Kyle Trask finally, and that opened up number 2, Buka's college number, so I don't blame the guy. Now I have a collector's item, so I don't know how many times I'm going to wear this, so keep this fresh in your mind. I might have to frame this almost immediately, get this dude to sign it so that when he gets into the Hall of Fame, I've got a true collector's item. Because right now, Emeka Egbuka, like, we would not be surprised if he's the Bucs wide receiver 1 by week 3 or 4. All right, so let's really think about it, though. This offense is built around the slot receiver. Chris Godwin was the wide receiver 2. Not a wide receiver 2. He was the wide receiver 2, only to Jamar Chase, when he went down midway through the season last year with his ankle injury. That's the role that Buka's falling into. Like, Mike Evans isn't running any different routes, okay? Kate Otten, yes, is still there, and he may get a little extra work, but he's injured too now. So it's Ibuka and Mike Evans and good old Sterling Shepard back in the building. Yes. So really, this kid's going to get a lot of work to start things off. It's only going to help his dynasty value. The dude's already, like I said at the beginning, up to wide receiver 16. So, like, when you're matching that up against some other receivers, dynasty-wise, okay? Let's look at even other wide receiver 2s. Are you matching them up? Are you taking them over Devonta Smith right now? Probably. Are you taking him over DJ Moore? Probably. Roma Dunze? Probably. I don't know who to call the wide receiver 1 and 2 there in Chicago. Are you taking him over Jordan Addison? Probably. I mean, how high do we want to roll here with this kid? We could slide up to Jackson Smith and Jigba, fellow wide receiver from Ohio State. That's where it's about even for me. I don't know that I could throw my nuts on the table and grab Ibuka over JSN in a startup draft. But dude, if you threw if I own Ibuka and you throw me JSN straight up, I don't know if I'm taking it. All right. I watched a show earlier today, and they literally went all the way up to A.J. Brown. And that's where it stopped. They were like, no, man, I can't do it. But just the fact that it was in consideration, especially on that show that I love, it was the All Gas Trade Show. Ty in my Birdhouse 4 league running that deal. And, he sees all the trades. Let's go and show you some of the Emeka Egbuka trades recently. He's got to be one of these bubbles here where there's George Pickens, there's Egbuka. All right, so let me slide over to Dynasty Daddy for you guys. All right, there we go. There was Egbuka up near the top. Okay, here's some Emeka Egbuka deals right now. Straight up, 2 QB league, straight up for Caleb Williams. Emeka Egbuka and a third, 28 third. For Jerome Ford, a 26 first and a 26 third. I'm taking the Egbuka side. Then we got Jalen Hurts and Nico Collins for Dart, Egbuka, Cam Ward, and 2 fourths. Whoo-wee. That is some balls on the Egbuka side. Here we go. We've got R.J. Harvey and Egbuka for Matthew Golden and 2 firsts. 26 and 27 firsts. Like, Matthew Golden is flying up the boards too, but Egbuka is definitely above him here if you're counting. I mean, R.J. Harvey is right at a mid-first value. So, like, you're giving up, like, 2 firsts for Egbuka there. Then we've got Egbuka, JMO, and a 26 first for CeeDee Lamb in a 2 QB 12 teamer start 10. So not so shallow of a league. That is a very interesting deal. Here we've got Egbuka and Calvin Ridley for DJ Moore, Jacoby Myers, and a 26 second. So I don't know. I'm leaning the Ibuka side on that one. Like, you could match up Ridley with, he's somewhere in between. Ridley right now, I'd say, is somewhere in between DJ Moore and Jacoby Myers. So let's just say Ridley and DJ Moore are let's just say Ridley and Jacoby Myers are the crossouts. You got Ibuka for DJ Moore in a second. Let's slide down and see just a couple more for Ibuka. Here again, Ibuka a first and second for CD and a third. Whew. Here we've got Dallas Goedert and Terry McLaurin for Ibuka and Jalen Warren. Wow. I'll take that all day for Ibuka. Here we've got Brock Bowers in a 12-team start 10. Half-point tight end premium. Ibuka, Mark Andrews, and a 27 second. Here again, Ibuka, JMO, and a 27 first for Puka and a 26 third. Similar to the CD deal up higher. Again, what is with CD and Ibuka? CD for Ibuka and 1 first. So there you have it. I mean, there's some deals out there. This guy is pretty fluid if you want to bounce around the wide receiver board. Like, it's your call. I like the guy. I honestly didn't love the pick initially by the Bucks, but now that we see that Chris Godwin had to have multiple surgeries on this ankle, now I know why they did it. Okay, last year during the season when we had Godwin suffer that injury and then Mike Evans got a hamstring injury that put him out 4 weeks, his offense struggled a little. Now Baker pulled it through, played like an MVP, and but they don't want to have to do that again to Baker. So yeah, Tristan Wirfs out a little at the beginning of the season, at least probably. They're going to be relying on this dude right out of the gate. So, yes. I mean, I've seen him go as high as the 4th round in a redraft. So, yes, the kid is rising, and who knows where it stops, honestly. All right. Next up, I want to talk another young wide receiver, basically a rookie, but did play some last year, and that is Ricky Pearsall. And so Pearsall's somebody, honestly, okay, I'm a Seminole fan, so yes, I had an awesome weekend. But Ricky Pearsall is a Gator, and so yeah, I had my hesitation on drafting him. But I put that aside, okay? I have taken Ricky Pearsall in a couple of my redrafts this year. I've got him in one Dynasty startup. I took him as well. And so this kid's looking like he's ready to show up, okay? They won't get Brandon Ayuk back until at least middle of the season. The Juwan Jennings saga continues. We don't know if he'll be playing week 1. I think he will. I think he's going to have to suck it up and not get paid. But even so, Pearsall's taking over basically the Deebo Samuel position on this team. When Ayuk comes back, him and Juwan Jennings are going to have to fight over that role on the other side. So that means that Pearsall is going to get to stay on the field now. So initially, beginning of this offseason, when I did not know if Ayuk would miss the beginning of the year, I was looking at it more so from the lens of, like, the Green Bay Packers have always held Jaden Reed back because of the offense, right? Well, that's an offense that they run and they've been very successful with. It's an offense that the Niners run and they've been very successful with. What kind of offense? Well, it's an offense that puts 2 tight ends out on the field and deplores the fullbacks a lot. All right? Kyle Juszczyk on the field a lot. what's the dude? I can't think of Luke Jensen. I think that's his name. Luke Jensen, tight end 2. You may not know it because he doesn't get any targets, but he gets plenty of snaps for the Niners because he can block. Okay, that's how Christian McCaffrey is so efficient. They have 2 tight end sets all the time. One dude is out there just blocking. But between him and or Juszczyk, they're on the field like 75% of the time. What does that mean? Well, that means that you can't have 3 wide receivers out on the field as well. So that's the problem with the Niners offense, or the Niners wide receivers, is it limits the ceiling of the wide receiver 3 in this offense, just like it limits the ceiling for Jaden Reed in the Packers offense. So once I got wind that Pearsall actually wouldn't be stuck as the wide receiver 3, well, that pumped his ceiling up a little bit more, and the fact that he's playing week 1 right out of the gate, he's playing all off season with Brock Purdy, I now like him. I don't want to say I love him yet because he is a Gator still, but, and it might be the influence of my co-host, Matt English. Yes, I do listen to him once in a while. Ricky Pearsall is hot right now, and I don't mind buying high on Pearsall because this kid could explode this year. And, if McCaffrey were to go down, this could only be expanded. Now, I don't think that Pearsall is going to be running plays out of the backfield like Debo. All right. He's not quite that built like Debo. All right. But they're going to manufacture a ton of touches for this guy. And I'm liking it right now. Okay. Next up. Yes, we are smoking hot tonight. We are just talking the preseason fireballs. Jackson Dart, probably preseason MVP. He did get announced as the QB2 today for the New York Giants. Yes, the QB2, so he is ahead of Jameis Winston on the depth chart for the New York Football Giants. And so if there happens to be an injury to Russell Wilson early on, you could see Jackson Dart even sooner than thought. My thoughts going through the New York Giants schedule, it's a rough one, okay? They don't get a break until week 5 at New Orleans. So that was the week that I penciled in as the first potential start for Dart. And if he gets in that soon, that could be completely wheels up. It'll be too late to buy him then. Recently, I've been really pushing to try and buy him from one of the followers here, Hergot, yes, trying to squeeze him out of him in a Ashton Genty deal, but I just wasn't loving it enough. Ashton Genty's not. So I couldn't do it. Probably going to have to roll the dice on the 26 quarterback class in that one, but that's okay. I don't know what the ceiling is on Jackson Dart, but I've looked at him like a Justin Herbert type quarterback, okay? He's got a little wheels on him. Very, very elastic arm, okay? He can sling it. He can put it anywhere, all right? So once this kid gets in, it's not turning back. And Brian Daboll needs Jackson Dart to hit to save his job, okay? He could go 6-11 this year, but if Jackson Dart's looking good, that could save him his job. If Dart's looking good, and it looks like Daboll is part of the reason for that, they are not going to can him even if they don't get to the playoffs this year. So that's why Brian Daboll needs Jackson Dart. Russell Wilson, let me tell you, I'm just going to bring it up, the Giants' schedule to start the season. I know they open at Washington, all right? Then week 2 at Dallas, which is looking like a better game now. Week 3, home to Kansas City on Sunday night. How do they get a Sunday night? Week 4, home to the Chargers. Then week 5, the game I mentioned, at New Orleans. After that, though, home to Philly on Thursday, at Denver, at Philly, home to the Niners. Like, we're talking these first 9 games, they could literally be 1-8. They're not favored in any of these games. The Dallas one is the closest, okay? And even with Dallas, the way they're looking, Dallas is a 3-point favorite at home, okay? They're not, depending on how New Orleans plays, they could be favored against them. But none of these other games are they going to be favored in. So you're looking at a potential 1-8 start from these New York Football Giants. And again, Brian Daboll needs Jackson Dart to save his job. So I think he's going to be in sooner than you think. Potentially week 5 is what I'm looking at. This guy was slinging it great in the preseason, and that's what they need. Russell Wilson, the rest of the team isn't good enough, okay? The rest of the team is not as good as the Pittsburgh Steelers last year, okay? The Giants have a sneaky decent defense, all right? But the talent on offense, like, I know there's a Cam Scatterbo cult following out there, but the dude's not leading him to the Super Bowl. The 1-2 punch of Tyrone Tracy and Cam Scatterbo ain't scaring anybody. Malik Neighbors will scare you, but when you can triple team him, because none of the other players on the offense scare you. I know that Neighbors will still catch the ball even when he's triple teamed, but seriously, like, it's going to be rough sledding, even for Jackson Dart. I wish him the best. I do think that he will be able to do well. I just don't know if he'll have the same offense around him next year. All right, let me clear these guys up. Get into some other names from this off season. Okay. Follow it up here with a little Rashee Rice. We're going to talk suspended players. Yes. And Jordan Addison. What are we to do with these dudes? Start off with Rashee Rice. Got slapped with a 6-game suspension last week. We found that out finally. And it's good. I like it. On the teams that I've got him on, now I know what to expect. If my team was middle of the pack or worse, now I know that I'm probably going to be playing for next year. In a team that is better than that, well, now I know that I just need an extra body at wide receiver. Like the one team that I am a big contender in, I had Devontae Adams as my 5th wideout. Now I just have to start Devontae Adams every week for the first 6 weeks. Then I'm getting a full and fresh Rashee Rice. He's going to come in 100% healthy. And that's even better following the injury from last season. So this gives Xavier Worthy a chance to get some confidence in that offense. And it could make this Chiefs offense even more lethal come mid-October. So, yes, there's some tough matchups for the Chiefs that they have to have without Rice. But, look, if anybody thinks the Chiefs start off 3-3 or even 2-4 and they're out of it, they're nuts. Okay? This Chiefs squad is resilient. I know that last year people think that they got lucky with a lot of their wins, but the fact is they still had those wins. Yes, they got their asses handed to them in the Super Bowl, but they'll bounce back. This is not a team to overlook. I don't think anybody's overlooking them, but it's not a team that you can just push aside. And I don't know. People were doing it with New England all the time. Oh, this is the year. Just like everybody's saying, this is the year for Denver. This is the year for the Chargers. Look, Chiefs are still the favorites in that division until I see it. Do I want to see it? Yes. I'd love to see the Chargers or Broncos overtake them. I want that division to be the most competitive division in football. I want to see that go down to the wire where all three teams are like 11-5 going into the last week of the season. That'd be awesome. Awesome viewership. I think that the Chargers and the Broncos both could do that this year, but until I see it, Chiefs are going to be riding high. That means Rashee Rice is going to be just getting pelted over the middle with those little 10-yard slants from one Patrick Mahomes once he comes back. Now, onto the other dude suspended. That's Jordan Addison. 3-game suspension. And, by the way, Rashee Rice, total buy. Total buy right now. Buying anywhere. Jordan Addison, kind of feel the same way. I mean, his price probably hasn't dropped as much, but I still consider him, like, the dude's right with Jamison Williams and Devonta Smith as very similar in the wide receiver 2 roles that they play with their teams. Jamison Williams got the 5th-year option, but he didn't get the big contract. Same with Jordan Addison. He's playing for his big contract. Now, he really needs to step it up since he got this 3-game suspension. That doesn't help him. Now, that does mean he could go somewhere next year, but I think that the Vikings, being that they'll have a rookie contract for J.J. McCarthy, depending on how they want to play their defense, who has tons of talent everywhere, in the contract world, I think that they're best suited to try and re-sign this kid, but we'll see how he plays this year. He's going into his 3rd year. Point being that next off season is when he would be looking to start talking about an extension. He was a 1st rounder, so they may just, they'll give him the 5th-year option, I guess. But point being, once he comes back at the end of September, it's wheels up, dude. And if you only got to miss 3 weeks, again, just like Rashee Rice, but even better, it's only 3 weeks. Now, Addison isn't going to put up the numbers that Rice puts up, but for a 1st rounder, he might be, he's probably available now. If you want to pony up a 1st, I don't hate it. No, he's going to produce when he comes back. So, love buying him as well. All right. Next up, who do we want to chat about? Anybody out there you guys want me to talk about? Anybody cold? Let's talk some injured players. Tyron's... Sorry. Tyron. Tajay Spears. Okay. Old Tajay rolled up, got his ankle rolled up against my Bucks on the first preseason week. And so he'll start the season on IR, meaning he'll be out for 4 weeks. Everybody's been buying Tony Pollard earlier in the redrafts that I'm in. It's good for Pollard's dynasty value right now. If you have Pollard and he's, 3rd, 4th, 5th running back on your team, it's a good chance to sell him right now, because once Tajay Spears comes back, this is going to be pretty close to a 50-50 split. Like, Tajay really tore it up last month of last season when Pollard was injured. And, the play that he got hurt on, man, it was a screen, and he exploded for 20 yards. It was unfortunate that he got his ankle rolled up. This guy has some wheels, and, he's basically playing for his next contract, because this guy... the rumor when he got drafted, he was a little older already. You can see there he's 24 right now. So give it 2 more years, he'll be 26 going into the off season of when he'll try to be getting his second contract. So this guy's playing for his real life career. Okay, he's been playing without one of his ACLs his whole NFL career. That was fully disclosed before the Titans drafted him, and it hasn't seemed to really come into play. Yeah, he got an ankle injury here, but man, he's explosive as hell. And so I guess if you can get a discount on him, I don't know what his upside really is again. That's the problem with a lot of these running backs that I talked about. There's only a handful of running backs in the NFL that I really want to pay a first for, okay? And you got to be a true bell cow. I got to know that you are. I got to know, like, look at what people paid a first for just this year, and we've already gotten burned on, right? Quinshon Judkins, Caleb Johnson, they're. Do you see Tajay Spears ever getting more of what those two have as an opportunity in front of them? It's really hard to see that, okay? So that's where my problem is with Tajay Spears. I don't know. I'd look at the return week 5 as an opportunity to sell. Right now, you're just stashing him on IR. But yeah, there's going to be some hype when he comes back, and there's going to be some attrition at the position, and you're going to probably be able to sell him. And unless Tony Pollard's out, I would be looking to sell Spears at that moment. Next up, we've got my boy down in Tampa, Chris Godwin, and this has been an ugly offseason. It was an ugly injury, and now an even uglier offseason where he had to have an extra surgery, and now the rise of Ibuka. So this is really hard to see what happens with Godwin. Now, part of it may come into play what the Bucs' record is to start the season, whether Godwin gets rushed back. He hasn't been put on the PUP list yet. So, but Jason Licht was on the radio saying that it's week 5 or later. So I expect him to be put on the early season PUP list very soon. Just hasn't been announced yet. Now you can see that he's officially been marked as out now for week 1. That must have just happened within the last couple of hours. Because he was still listed as doubtful the last time I had checked at around noon. But thing with Godwin, he is somewhat of a buy because when he does come back, like I said, he was wide receiver 2 last year. Now I don't expect that necessarily, but even with Ibuka and Mike Evans, and even with both of them healthy, let's say they're both healthy when Godwin does return, this dude is going to go back to his role no matter what Ibuka does, okay? So in the Bucs offense, now it was under Tom Brady, but they were able to support 3 wide receivers back then. But Baker Mayfield threw for plenty of yards last year. All 3 of these dudes could eat, and I don't think we were expecting top 10 numbers from any of the guys. We're just looking for top 25 numbers. And you could get that from Chris Godwin when he comes back, if you're able to buy him for a second rounder right now, and you want to stash him on your IR, by all means, the dude would be a great addition for the second half of the season. I don't know how much you're going to be able to trust him, but you're going to have him, if you buy him for a second, you're going to have him next year too. And next year he'll go into the season healthier, and it's just a good opportunity to grab a nice stash for your late season run. All right. Next up on the injury front, we got somebody who I'm not so optimistic on, and that's Brandon Ayuk, okay? Now, why do I say that? Well, for one, the Niners don't throw as much as the Bucks, okay? They're very efficient, yes, but I already hyped up Ricky Pearsall. I can't hype up Brandon Ayuk as well, especially when Juwan Jennings is going to be playing for his next contract, because I don't think he's going to get paid. Even if he does get paid, he's not going to get some monster deal. He's going to get some deal where the Niners have a chance to probably cut him after this year. So Brandon Ayuk is the one that got paid, and now he's playing like a player who just got paid. And so he's going to sit this one out until he's fully ready. Now, maybe he'll have a change in his mindset and he'll actually want to play to win. But until I see that, I am not buying into any Ayuk. And I think the market is extremely frigid on him. Now, you could get a second for him and cash out, and I wouldn't have a problem with that. I don't know that Ayuk at age 27 already, I don't know that he ever gets back to being worth a first. So if you can cash out right now, you could do it. Or you just sit him on your on the IR, which at this point in the year you should have room on your IR still, and you just wait until he's ready to come back, and then maybe you flip him for, a Jacoby Myers or somebody who's actually playing. You could flip him for Rashid Shaheed even. Okay, I'd rather have Shaheed than Ayuk right now. So those are just some options. If you're a rebuilding team and you can get them dirt cheap, I guess I don't hate it. But do you really want a 27 going on to 28 year old wide receiver? I mean, it could be worse, right? It's not like you're trading for Devontae Adams or Tyler Lockett, okay? Adams, I'd still bet on Adams outproducing Ayuk next year. So I don't know if Adams was a great example. But, yeah, I'm not loving Ayuk. It's just not, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense in a rebuild. You'd have to have a lot of seconds to go ahead and buy him. And if you do, yeah, it's an okay stash for you. But otherwise, I'm staying out, and I'm looking to flip for a second right now. Next up, one last injured player of note, and that's Joe Mixon. And Joe Mixon, yikes, what is going on there, right? Like, the dude shows up with a foot injury about a month ago, and they've been very secretive on it, right? And usually that's not good. So Woody Marks, I've been touting. Nick Chubb's going to get the first crack at it, but I don't know. 29, 30-year-old Nick Chubb's got left in the tank. Like, yeah, they could pound him to start the year, but, man, good Houston offense, and you've got Nick Chubb running it just doesn't sound right. So is it going to be Dameon Pierce back from the dead? Who knows? But if you can get Dameon Pierce on the super cheap right now, I don't know that somebody who owns Dameon Pierce is going to actually do that. Dameon Pierce, hell, he might be available on your waivers. And if he is, much like Chris Rodriguez in Washington, like, go ahead and scoop him up for free all day. Everybody knows Woody Marks right now because he was one of the flashier. He's got a cool name, so people were making sure he got drafted in the third or fourth round of our rookie drafts. By the time the rookie drafts actually rolled around, and so yeah, he's a little more popular than Dameon Pierce. If you've hung on to Dameon Pierce all the way since his rookie season, this is your last hope. Like, this is your last shot. So I'd probably wait until Nick Chubb struggles and Pierce has a big game or two before selling him. Because honestly, what are you going to get for Dameon Pierce right now? Can you even get a third? Okay, so wait until Nick Chubb struggles or has a bad outing, and Pierce gets some. Pierce can break it. So if he pops one big, that's your that's your shot to trade him. Hopefully, you're not holding out hope that Dameon Pierce is your answer to your season, though. All right. So Joe Mixon, honestly, I'd be at this point, I'd kind of be surprised if he even plays this year. It's just at that point, I'd be surprised if he plays. All right. Let's get these old injured boys off the board here, and let's talk some real hype at Omarion Hampton. All right. So, Omarion's one of the golden tickets in this 2025 rookie running back class. Best rookie running back class, so to speak, since 2017. Will it be or will it not be? One of the main players in that answer is Omarion Hampton. Now, he's been gifted the opportunity to be playing with the first stringers since the 4th of July, because Najee Harris, decided to become a Pirate. And so that means that Hampton has been running with the first string. Hold on 1 second. All right, sorry. That means Hampton's been rolling with the first string. He's on a great offense. As I mentioned, the Chargers are expected to at least be as good, if not better, than last season and contend with the Chiefs and Broncos in that AFC West. And so it's been wheels up on Hampton. I've been drafting him in the 3rd round easily in a lot of my redrafts. Haven't been able to get too many Dynasty shares of the guy, but that might change come mid-season, and I'm making a push for the playoffs. We'll see how the season starts out for Hampton. I think that now that Harris actually is on the field in practice and he looks like he's ready for week 1, I mean, the dude's never missed a game, okay? So Najee is a gamer, and he's going to get some touches. Like, the Chargers aren't stupid here. It's Jim Harbaugh, it's Greg Roman. Like, now Jim Harbaugh has a fetish with Hassan Haskins, but I think that Harris will still eat a little into Hampton's workload at the beginning of the season, but I still think that Hampton has a very high ceiling come the end of this year, and he could be a league winner in that regard. So, yes, Hampton's juicy. Love him. All right. Next up is Travion Henderson, and not Alan Henderson, Travion. And Travion, so much like Hampton, he has to share the backfield with a veteran. Unlike Hampton, he's not on quite as good of an offense. Now, the Patriots' offense does look to be better this year with Josh McDaniels coming back to town, a new head coach, Mike Vrabel. He's going to be looking to pound the rock. Like, they do not have very good wide receivers. They're deploring a one-legged Stephon Diggs here, and the rest is just a bunch of, like Kayshon Boutte might be the best receiver this year. Hell, I own Efton Chisholm in over half of my leagues because I believe so little in the wide receivers ahead of Efton Chisholm on the depth chart there in New England. And so don't be shocked when Chisholm leads the team in receptions this year. He might only average 5 yards a catch, but he might lead the team in receptions. So the point, coming back to Travion Henderson, the point is they're going to rely on these two running backs a lot, okay? And so that's good news for Henderson. He's going to get catches. He is probably not going to return kicks like he did with his first ever touch in an NFL game, which was a preseason game. Took it to the house. But if that's any indication of the kind of talent this dude has, like, honestly, the sky is the limit. Like, Travion Henderson, after his freshman year, was the RB1 in this class. Okay, Ollie Gordon took over that mantle after their sophomore seasons, and then Henderson had to share backfield with Quinshon Judkins in his final year at Ohio State. So he kind of got put under the radar a little bit, but then started creeping back up as we rolled in through the draft season. Now, I don't know that the New England landing spot was sexy enough for people to jump all the way in on, but dude could end up being the top back in this class. Like, he's got that much talent, all right? If you remember the 2017 class, yes, Christian McCaffrey was in that class. Yes, all these other names were in this class, but Leonard Fournette was the number one back drafted in that class, just like Ashton Genty is the number one back. Now, I think Genty's got much more talent than Fournette had as far as a skill set goes. I didn't like Fournette as much of a receiver coming out of college, whereas Genty, I think, is an awesome receiver. So I think that in that regard, Genty's got a little more talent than this dude. But this dude played at Ohio State. He's played in some big games. He is ready for the NFL game right now. And the NFL is not going to intimidate him. He, like I said, is going to get a ton of work in this offense. He's going to play sort of the James White role in the Josh McDaniel offense, but get more carries as well. So I'm thinking 10 to 15 touches right out of the gate for Henderson, with the potential to up that a little bit, like 15 plus touches, sort of Aaron Jones. All right, that's what I'm thinking with Travion Henderson. And if you can get Aaron Jones's career out of Travion Henderson, like, dude, if you don't like what Aaron Jones has done for his career, I don't know, you need to be playing a different game here. So Travion Henderson also wheels up. He's been going in roughly the 4th round now. Love that price for him. I know Ramondre is going to be there, and you might have one or two ugly games, but the Patriots have a nice schedule to open things up. Just one of my co-owners was talking about taking the New England D in his work league draft, and I agreed with him. Like, he's got Vegas. They've got Vegas, Miami, Pittsburgh, and Carolina to open the season. 4 very winnable games for the Patriots. They could start out very hot, and Josh McDaniel and Mike Vrabel, I think, have something rolling here, and so get them while you can with these rookie running backs. And I don't know that you can buy Travion Henderson since the draft's already done, but you can still get him in redraft. You just have to pay probably the 4th round price tag for him. And then finally, one last rookie running back to hit on, and that is R.J. Harvey. Yes, Harvey been moving up the boards as well. Similar situation to Ramondre Stevenson. Maybe a little more talent at wide receiver. Okay, a lot more talent at wide receiver and the tight end position in Denver. Plus, better O-line. Quarterback, a grade about even. Bo Nix was better last season than what Drake May was able to do, but when you put the kind of talent in the wide receiver room that Denver had versus what, and Denver wasn't like a top 5 unit at wide receiver. They were just like top 20-ish. New England's wide receiver room last year was just, I mean, Hunter Henry is their best receiver from last season. Okay, that's how crazy the Stephon Diggs signing is the dude coming off an ACL, 30 years old, and he walks in the building as the best wide receiver. So in Denver, though, RJ Harvey's got to battle some veterans for touches here. Now, they brought in J.K. Dobbins to essentially be the first second down grinder. RJ Harvey will look more like what Alvin Kamara was his rookie season, where Mark Ingram was there. And so, this could be a very happy marriage with Dobbins and Harvey being similar to Ingram and Kamara. Kamara still, Kamara was top 10 every year under Sean Payton, and he's still top 10 every season just because of the receptions. I don't know that Kamara quite finished top 10 last year, but he was hurt a lot, and he had that suspension, so that's kind of why. But RJ Harvey, it's wheels up. This kid's 24. He's already 24. I mean, they drafted him to play him a lot right away. So he's not going to sit. They're going to get this guy plenty of opportunities. I've taken him in a lot of drafts recently, and so love the kid, love the upside. Cheaper price than this is the key. Cheaper price than Travion Henderson, but very likely similar production. Okay, I think Amarian Hampton has a higher ceiling than both of them, but Harvey could sneakily, Dobbins. I just don't trust J.K. Dobbins to stay healthy. That's his MO. When is he going to get hurt? I'm not looking at Ramondre Stevenson and saying, oh, when is he going to get hurt? When is he going to get, right? Stevenson could play all 17 games. Dobbins, he's good for 10 to 14 games this year. RJ Harvey, when Dobbins is out, I know Jaleel McLaughlin's hanging out, but they let Audric Estime go, and they still have who? Tyler Beatty? Okay. Key here is Sean Payton's system. They like to dump it off to the running back, and that's what they drafted Harvey for. He's going to get 50-plus receptions this year. Who knows how high? And I like the Denver offense this season. I don't know that Harvey will be the grinder in the fourth quarter if they have a bunch of leads. But to get to those leads, they're going to be using Harvey a lot. And I like the 6th-round price tag of Harvey over the 4th-round price tag of Travion Henderson when you have a similar outcome staring you in the face there. All right. So, off of the rookie running backs, let's head over to wide receiver, a little deeper down the board if we're talking redraft. And we want to talk Josh Downs. Yes, Josh Downs. Why? Well, he had an injury-plagued last season. He had another little hamstring issue pop up, and that scares me a little. Not only does the quarterback situation scare you with Daniel Jones throwing him the ball. Now, Daniel Jones is an upgrade to Anthony Richardson throwing the ball, but Josh Downs is at least talented enough that he still was able to make things work. Josh Downs is a better all-around receiver than Michael Pittman. We'll put it that way, okay? So that enough makes me still want to buy into Josh Downs just a little bit now. Hopefully you didn't buy into him and expect him to start week 1 because, like I said, that hamstring thing popped up. And hopefully he doesn't play until he's fully healthy and recovered from that, which may mean he sits week 1 and 2. But I've got another option for you, and this guy is completely healthy, and that is Rashid Shaheed. And I bring both of these guys up because they're both in very similar situations. They both popped a little last year, both had some injuries, and both have completely shitty quarterback situations. And so they're going super cheap. You can get them in rounds 10, 11, 12 of both Dynasty and redraft. You could get them thrown into deals if you want, and both could end up helping you very much. So come the fantasy playoffs. Like, we have no idea who's going to be slinging the rock for New Orleans come week 10, 11, 12 of this season. Hell, Tyler Shook could be slinging it around like crazy at that point. I don't know, their third string quarterback. They could trade for Jameis Winston, get him back. I don't know. But right now, it looks like ass there in New Orleans. And the key is, it's so bad that they're just going to have to throw it. Spencer Rattler may look like shit last year, but he still threw it. And he can throw it around. He's another year into the NFL. And, hey, Kellen Moore's done pretty well in all of his stops. Now, he hasn't had a reclamation project or a beginner's guide to quarterback like what he's stuck with here. You know, and yeah, Tyler Shook's older, but that doesn't mean he's better. I mean, Spencer Rattler just beat him out, okay? Now, Rattler's got some talent. He was a highly recruited prospect coming out of high school, and he was solid at South Carolina after having to transfer from Oklahoma. But, you know, I just don't love the ceiling there. Again, though, it's a new offense, could be fun, and the bottom line is they're going to have to throw the ball a lot. And Rashid Shaheed was outscoring Chris Olave last year when he went down. So, I don't know. For one, I don't love Chris Olave's price when I know I can get Rashid Shaheed a couple rounds later. So, that's what I've been telling everybody in both Dynasty and Redraft this whole draft season. And so I'm big on Shaheed. I like Shaheed over Downs, just because, like, there's a lot of weapons in Indianapolis. Okay, Josh Downs is battling Michael Pittman, a very solid receiver. Michael Pittman and Chris Olave are honestly pretty much the same to me, and that's why I don't buy into Olave at his price tag. But after Pittman, you've got Adonai Mitchell, Alec Pierce. You've got the fresh new rookie, Tyler Warren, who they want to get involved in Indy. And you got a low-volume passer in Daniel Jones. So, like, I don't know. It doesn't seem that exciting. There's a team that's, like, destined to go 8-9 and end up with a pick in the middle of the first round and trying to still figure out their quarterback situation. New Orleans, at least, is giving it a shot here this year with either Rattler or Tyler Shook. If it doesn't work out, screw it. They'll have a top 5 pick and they can draft the homeboy Garrett Nussmeier. I don't know. Maybe that's the plan. That was the plan the whole time. So we'll see. But New Orleans is going to have to throw the ball a lot, and it worked out for Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers last year in Las Vegas, where they didn't have shit at quarterback, but those guys had to throw it. I'm talking Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell, and I think that is the similar case here with Spencer Rattler or Tyler Shook. They both can throw the football a lot, all right? They might not be great at it, but when you're throwing it 40 plus times a game, like, you're going to have some stats there. So you're going against prevent defenses, like, yeah, sign me up. All right? So that cheap, it's worth it for those two. All right. Moving along. We have just a couple more guys I want to touch on. And we'll go to the running back for these ones. And we're going to start with, basically we're talking the old crusty veterans from the 2017 running back class. Starting off with James Conner. Yes. James Conner still toting the rock at age 30 for the Arizona Cardinals. Easily fending off Trey Benson. A lot of people are hoping he's a thing. Well, I'm telling you what, Trey Benson is like, and I'm a Florida State guy, but Trey Benson is not Dalvin Cook. He is not Devontae Freeman even, okay? And definitely not my boy Warwick Dunn back there. So what I'm saying is Trey Benson, you can keep hoping, but honestly, he is worth nothing more than Kendre Miller. And they're going to draft another person next year, and it's still not going to happen because James Conner is not coming off the football field until he says so. And so as long as James Conner is there, he is the bell cow for the Arizona Cardinals, who surprisingly were pretty decent offense last year, top 12, in fact, scoring-wise. And so, yeah, there's some productivity there in this backfield. And like I said, as long as James Conner is healthy, he's the bell cow. Pencil him in for 13 weeks this year. I don't know when he's going to miss those 4 games, but at his price tag, in both redraft or dynasty, I'll take it. He's a little high in redraft for my tasting, honestly, because again, I'm leaning the 2 rookies because I think that the upside there is something that I buy into more. But James Conner is a nice boring pick if you just want like boringness. As you can see there, though, RB10, it's hard to argue against it. And as long as he's healthy, I don't know. Why not take it? So then you've got Aaron Jones, also from that 2017 class. And Aaron Jones, much like James Conner, just will not go away. How many times have we heard it from the other guy with Aaron Jones? First, it was A.J. Dillon in Green Bay. Then last year it was Ty Chandler in Minnesota. And now this year it's Jordan Mason. This other guy is always going to be somebody that can finish top 25 because Aaron Jones only gets 15 touches a game. Well, those 15 touches still amounted to an RB16 year for Aaron Jones last year, and I really don't see him dropping to anything less than that. You can pencil him in for an RB2 season. Maybe he finishes RB20. Fine. And even, pencil him in for 3 or 4 missed weeks, just like James Conner. But again, the price tag, and his price in redraft is at least a few rounds later than James Conner. So, again, good buys for a contending team in Dynasty. If you have a league that hasn't been very active since the draft, and now you have a team that now it's coming up on the regular season, and they were waiting for the opportunity to sell Aaron Jones higher than what they could sell him for a draft season, this is your opportunity. Go buy Aaron Jones for a second. You can plug him in right now. Maybe you've got a young running back, maybe you drafted Quinshon Judkins, right? These are perfect guys to go out and buy. I drafted, or I had Joe Mixon on one of my teams, and I went out and bought James Conner for a second. Okay? That was that could have saved my season in that league. Aaron Jones, similar. If you had Quinshon Judkins, even if you drafted R.J. Harvey and just aren't for sure wanting to start him right out the gate, I don't know that I'd buy Aaron Jones. I would just play R.J. Harvey, but it doesn't hurt to buy Aaron Jones or James Conner for a second in either regard. Finally, actually, no, I've got 2 more. DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift just won't go away either. Now, he's a little younger, 4 years younger, in fact, than the other 2, and DeAndre Swift just keeps on chugging along. And he's going right down the same road of the previous 2. This dude was a 2nd-round pick by the Detroit Lions. Fell out of favor with Ben Johnson, and so they shipped him off to Philly. He had a solid season. They didn't want to pay him a big contract, so he went to Chicago and had a solid season last year. This guy is destined to be RB19 once again. So, say what you want, but the Bears are going to have a sort of polarizing offense this year. I don't think they're finishing top 5, but I don't think they're finishing bottom 5 either. This is a team that could pump up their touchdown per game total, and if they do, that is very likely going to help DeAndre Swift's fantasy numbers. Like, even if he just finishes RB19 again, the dude's worth a second rounder if you can get him for that. So go ahead, kick the tires on DeAndre Swift. Like, all of these dudes are perfect guys for builds where you were only able to get 1 or 2 running backs early, and this is your RB2 or 3. In a redraft format, same goes for Dynasty. I'm not saying buy these guys right now in Dynasty if you already have 3 running backs. No, don't buy them now for insurance, because when you actually need them, they might be hurt then. So hang on to those seconds for now. These are guys to put on your short list to acquire mid-season, though, for sure. And finally, the last one, David Montgomery. And this is somebody who, okay, if you can get for 2/3, then I'd go ahead and do it. Because David Montgomery, even though he's sharing the field with Jahmyr Gibbs, who's, we all know, is a top 3 running back this year, potential RB1. David Montgomery, look at the numbers, RB18 last year, okay? Now, this Lions offense is so good that it could produce 2 top 20 running backs, and it could do it once again. And if Jahmyr Gibbs misses any time, you're going to be full bore David Montgomery for those weeks. And so last year, it was the other way around, where Montgomery missed time and Jahmyr Gibbs got pumped up to RB1 those weeks with over 30 points per game. But think about it. Jahmyr Gibbs is out week 1. Where are you going to rank David Montgomery week 2 and beyond, right? I mean, Montgomery is going to be a top 10 running back then. So even without a Jahmyr Gibbs injury, he's still a top 20 running back. So just keep David Montgomery in your back pocket for the regular season. And we've got 2 uglier guys, okay? Now, these are 2 who were pushed back earlier this offseason, starting with Travis Etienne. And the first reason was Tank Bigsby. Tank Bigsby had a good 6 or 7 quarters last season and rode that into massive hype when Liam Cohen came over, because from my perspective, I saw Tank Bigsby as more of the Bucky Irving style running back that was pushed up the boards extremely high this offseason because of the way he finished last year. And similar running style with Tank Bigsby, great broken tackles, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that pushed Etienne back down, because Etienne, well, from my perspective, I saw Etienne as basically just Rashad White. Now, Etienne, though, starts the season off as the RB1. Now he's got 2 guys breathing down his back, because the new Jaguars GM, as part of his sales pitch, said, you need to draft this guy, Bashul Tootin. And I hyped up Tootin. I've got him on a ton of teams, so I want to see Etienne fail. Although I did draft Etienne in one of my big leagues as my RB3, so I don't want to see him fail completely. But that said, this guy fumbles a couple of times. This guy has a couple bad weeks. His yards per carry look ugly early on. He is going to get replaced. Now, does that mean it's replaced fully? No, they could ship him out. They could trade him for very cheap. They'll probably only get a 6-rounder for him. But he could go somewhere else like Dallas or anywhere else where there's an injury and get a better opportunity. But we'll see. Point being, Etienne's only 26 years old. He can catch the ball. He's still got talent, okay? And so he may only be like a flex option or a dart throw at best at running back, but he's still a body that's going to get some points when you plug him into the lineup. You just have to have him in the lineup the right weeks. And so if he's on your team and you're not starting him, this may be your last shot right now to dump him and get something for him. Next up, same thing, and that's Austin Eckler. So Austin Eckler got his value diminished significantly based on age. He is also a running back from that 2017 class. Now, he was an undrafted free agent to the Chargers. So came from out of nowhere, sort of like Aaron Jones. Jones had been drafted, but Austin Eckler had to fight his way to the top of the depth chart in LA with the Chargers. And now with the Commanders, he starts out on top of the depth chart this year. Following the Brian Robinson deal, this is your last chance to unload him. If you can get a second for Austin Eckler now, I would do it. And so that's the last of what I have to say about the hot or not prior to this 2025 NFL season. Looking forward to it. We're going to have a great opening night slate for you. Matt English and I will be chatting both before and during that Philly-Dallas anticipated matchup. More hype on it now with the Micah Parsons deal, and can Dallas even hang in there against the Eagles? It should be exciting. I've got plenty of Dak and CeeDee and George Pickens shares just waiting for garbage time on Thursday night. Hell, what if they jump out to a 14-3 lead? It would be absolutely bonkers. But I'm not going to put my money on that. No. But I do think that Dak will get plenty of opportunity to throw the ball on Thursday night, and that makes me excited. So anyway, go ahead and drop a like, smash that subscribe button. You'll get hit the little bell down there. You'll get all of my upcoming shows will go right to your feed. And yeah, we got plenty of action coming for you. If you got any questions about your Dynasty rosters, go ahead and check out my Patreon. It's just $3 a month. You get to join the chat, get to talk with Hergot, Matt English, and all the rest of us in there, Steve, and get some advice on your Dynasty trades. Maybe push you over the edge if you got a good deal right in front of you and you just don't want to hit that smash button. I've experienced that little hesitation sometimes in trading certain players in Dynasty. It happens. But yeah, you can join the Patreon. Again, just $3 a month right now. I don't know a better deal out there in Dynasty land. If you have a particular question that you need answered immediately, just go ahead and buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Birdhouse Dynasty Show. Ready to answer anytime. With that, I want to thank you for joining us this great Tuesday night, just 2 nights before opening kickoff. Remember, never